Party or who support president or from security. We can't live here. I want to leave Egypt because the situation is so bad on Nubia. Human rights situation is so bad.
Is anyone speaking?
No, sorry.
No.
I
Yeah,
was
no,
repeating.
I was wondering also. Um, if I'm going to give a quick, short little update on the most little recent news tidbits that have been going on here. So, as Delta's talking about before, there is an ongoing political, technical battle about how to, oh, I'm sorry, I think that was Voice, about how to transfer funds to the Palestinian Authority and not have some of it basically end up in Hamas. So, there's going to be a cabinet meeting tomorrow in the Kiryat, that's here in Tel Aviv. And we also, regarding a hostage deal today, Hamas's current offer for the release of the hostages is an immediate and complete end to the war, the withdrawal of the IDF from Gaza Strip, and the international guarantees that Hamas will remain intact. So, yeah, they're delusional. Also, there was a shooting here in Tel Aviv. It was not a terrorist attack. It was apparently, and right now the information is a little bit fuzzy, but apparently a soldier from PTSD. So they're investigating that, but it's pretty unfortunate. Okay, moving on to Turkey. Erdogan called Netanyahu the Führer of today, and Israelis are taking note of the attitude of the economic partners such as Turkey and Jordan, which are beginning to demand that Israeli stores stop carrying their products. Hezbollah also announced that there was a drone attack in Sur, which killed a senior Hezbollah member. We covered that. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC, received a shipment of new weapons in Syria's Deir ez-Zor province. About 10 trucks loaded with heavy weapons arrived yesterday in the city of Al Mayadin, east of Deir ez-Zor, coming from the Eirat airport east of Syria. The distance to northern Israel is approximately 500 kilometers. That's the edge of Iran's medium-range missiles. So, and distance to the U.S. bases in Syria and Iraq is much less. There have also been heavy IDF attacks on Hezbollah yesterday on the outskirts of the town of Ramia and the area between Al-Tiri, Kunin, and Beit Yahan. There have been several rockets fired at the Ain al-Assad base of the U.S. military forces in Iraq, as we covered earlier. Two British minesweeper ships also collided at a port in Bahrain, and there was a lot of damage. In Judea and Samaria, there have been clashes between terrorists and the Israeli forces in the Palestinian village of Jalban, which is just east of Jenin. And as far as Gaza and Hamas, the IDF blew up another tunnel network in Abbasan, which is east of Khan Yunis, and it collapsed the entire neighborhood above. There's some very good footage of that you guys can go search for. Forces also raided a munitions manufacturing complex in the Zaytun neighborhood and nearby areas in the northern Gaza Strip. Dozens of rocket and munitions manufacturing machines were destroyed, including launch pits and explosives. It's estimated that with the equipment located, more than 800 rockets could have been produced. Gaza sources report that an Israeli tank convoy making its way from the surrounding area. There is a Israeli tank convoy making its way right now towards northeast Gaza. And that's been your news report. Go ahead, Rico.
Yeah, I was just gonna. Sorry, can you guys hear me? Is my volume okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. All right, I just wanted to speak more on this third-party fund transfer to Gaza. Now, it just boggles my mind that we're now like just now talking about a third party. Like it's completely slipped my entire scope that there hasn't been a third party vetting the aid that's going into these regions which are prone to terrorism or the military infrastructure financing. Like it's just what kind of NGOs are at play here, and what kind of like you literally need the basic controls of any not-for-profit NGO operation to avoid the funding of terrorism at any level in these regions. And it just boggles up my mind how we, sort of praised some of these NGOs as little as 10 years ago. And now all of a sudden, the entire legitimacy is thrown into question because the fundamental control practices of any operation that's supposed to be humanitarian just hasn't been used. And, I think third party, we need a whole investigation top to bottom of any NGO that needs to be operating here. And I think the third party, man, I hope there's a good procurement process behind that because there's still the risk that any third party they bring could be, how should I put this, compromised in a sense. So that's a very interesting development there because it speaks volumes about how this entire operation has been run for the past, well, since its inception.
Since 2006. Yeah, I agree with you. So that's why, by the way, yesterday today they said that tomorrow in this meeting that they will discuss it. They want to see a clear outline of how it will be handled. So in my opinion, it should be transparent as much as possible. You need to know where the money is coming from, where it is going, exactly the end point, and also maybe in this case how that money was used. So if it was used for providing help to refugees, if it was providing help, food, water, whatever. It's supposed to be transparent as much as possible because what's going on. And I think, by the way, those some of the NGOs were completely corrupt, but some of the NGOs right now are basically holding to their heads, not understanding how the hell all of their good intentions and helping the civilians and transferring all that money came to this situation. They don't really understand. And that's the problem. Sometimes you have good intentions, but the way you operate about it turns out to be very bad.
But
Yeah,
Kowalski,
boys.
we're talking about, sorry, before she goes, we're talking about
Sure.
fundamental controls that you would have at any NGO level that would have deterred all this from happening, and they just simply didn't have it, which gets me completely like, I'm scared shitless of the outstanding NGOs all over the world if they're running into the same exact issue and they just haven't picked up on it until after the fact, until the damage is done. So what we need is like precise controls that any CPA would know to be established here, and it just simply isn't the case. So, but I do agree with you overall. Man, this is crazy. There needs to be some transparency here. Audits.
Audits and transparency. Go ahead, boys.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell Rico and to add on what Kowalski was saying is that also, first of all, yesterday we reported about this bill that the EU Parliament has passed, and one of the parts of it, one of the chapters, was regarding to call a investigation, like a European investigation committee regarding the funds of Hamas, and they would try to trace those kind of transfers and to check where they went through. Of course, like the part that was, for example, like transferred, through crypto, would be very difficult to trace because of the nature of a blockchain technology. But it depends which platforms they use. But like just to help your ears a little bit, you need to understand that Hamas yearly budget is over 1 billion. Now, this is not 1 billion to a city that is in New York, in United States. This is a city like that is in the, like, they can do a lot with 1 billion. So you
It's
have,
one. It's 1 billion over current courtesy, which
yeah,
is a very
1
different.
billion exactly. But like you have, they are getting like 200 million from Qatar. They are getting like around 200 to 500 million from Iran or something like that. They're getting cash from smuggling weapon, and then they have this external fundraising, which is all these NGOs, right? And NGOs, for example, are like the biggest money laundering tool that they have. So this is why they also have the motive to keep the country in the state that it is, and to have all these corrupted NGOs in there. So I don't know, Kowalski, I haven't heard about like such shocked organization that didn't know what's happening under their nose, like maybe employees or something, that of course they were like smaller screws in the chain and they didn't know. But it's something that is well known about the Gaza Strip for quite a while, that this is how they operate. And this is just mind blowing. I agree with you, Salvas.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that, by the way, of course, maybe on the manager level of those NGOs, they probably know what they're doing and they're very complicit. But I'm sure that in those NGOs, I want to believe. Okay, this is me being more kind to the human race. I want to believe that some of those NGOs really have a good thought process in mind, really trying to help the people, like alleviate the suffering and alleviate the pain and
Yeah,
transferring
but
money.
Alex, don't aren't NGOs supposed to get some sort of accountability or reporting of where the money is going, like of what it
Yes.
exactly is they're funding? That's what's mind
Yes.
blowing to me. What were
Yeah,
they
We know
telling
but
them
how.
it was going towards?
but
Look,
think
Marty.
about it this way. But I'm trying to make a point here. Think about it this way. There are a bunch of young, really bleeding heart teens going on and collecting money from donations and other things. They think they're doing the right thing. They're actually saying in their heart of hearts, when they go to sleep at night, they think to themselves, we did a good thing today. We really made some people donate to people that are in suffering in bad conditions. Good on us. Pat on the back. But then, as that money leaves, it goes to very, very nefarious things. So for them, I think it's a blow. It's a morality blow for them to understand that what's the good thing they're trying to do really turns out to be a bad thing. That's my point.
And you'd think people would be furious, right? You'd think that you would be like, this is where I was sending my money to. I was actually helping build terror tunnels. I wasn't helping feed the children of
I
Gaza or
hope.
whatnot.
Listen. I hope I'm gonna give a bad example, and Sean, sorry, forgive me for that one, but bear with me for a second. We have the option to donate Sean some some coffee, which
Coffee,
is
coffee.
yeah, coffee, which is amazing, fun. But let's say that we find out in years and years that something was done with this money that we don't approve. We all will feel not so great with ourselves. Now we're talking about very small amount of money, not millions and billions of dollars. But um, when you're trying to do something good, when you're trying to alleviate the pain of people, you usually want to feel good that you're doing it, and also you want to know that this money is going to a good cause. Finding out that this money is going to a very bad cause, and by the way, Voice spoke about crypto transparency. We saw many cash being retrieved in Gaza, suitcases with thousands and thousands
Yeah, and like
of
35 different currencies also.
not on yeah, and a lot of money. And then you think to yourself, you're this bleeding heart liberal somewhere in the West, and you're like, oh shit, that was what I was doing for that, and it's a pain, it's a blow, in my opinion.
Yeah, but Alex, this is exactly what people need to wake up and see. That has been the entire scheme of that of what Gaza is. It's been it's just one big money making scheme. There's been one part of it is in order to induce terror upon Israel and violence upon Israel, but the other part is to just utilize the whole romantic story of these poor Gazans in order to make money. They is, as you said, they prey on people's sentimental need to help out. You know, when I was younger, it was like donate to the starving children in Africa and whatnot. Yes, half that money never makes it there, but Gaza, the story of the Palestinians has been an extraordinary moneymaker for years. There's propaganda that's come out about it. They've established Israel in such a negative light as this, threatening military state. I mean, the amount of money that's gone into there is mind blowing, and people need to wake up and actually see what it was all along, what the interest was in keeping it alive. By the way, Gaza was being entirely sustained by UNRWA as far as food, medicine, education, and whatnot. That was all taken care of. The Hamas technically had no actual financial responsibility or obligate. Well, they had an obligation, but they didn't need to take. They didn't need to give them any money. In fact, to like add insult to injury, they were actually taxing them. They were taxing Gazans, their income. They were slashing their salaries. They were even taking advantage of the Palestinians themselves, which is so twisted. And people really need to wake up and understand what's. I was confronted in an not to go on a rant, but I was confronted a couple days ago in an anti-Israel space where someone said, "Oh, I heard you on Sean's Space a couple of days ago, and you were basically saying that Gaza is rotten to the core, and that's so supremacist and condescending. And you were saying how Israel needs to help them." And I was like, "Yes, of course," and I stand by that. It is rotten to the core. It has nothing to do with the Gazan civilians themselves. It has to do with Hamas. They completely it's unsustainable. There's no economy there. There's no structure in place. All they were doing is using them as human shields, as an excuse to collect contributions and donations and money from countries, and also just innocent people who honestly thought they were donating to a cause. People need to wake up. They need a total paradigm shift of what Gaza actually was.
Okay, Rico. Rico.
Go ahead, Rico.
Yep. I'm right here. Sorry, it just took me a while. Marnie, let me just tell you how detectable this all was, and why. And I'm just like completely shocked how it's 2024 and we found out about this now. Any consulting firm or auditor firm that I'm sure UNRWA had to do some sort of reporting. Any audit firm would just simply need to see at any financial statement level to attest that the funds were used as they were intended to, or how the funds were used, or proof of concepts on the ground in order to justify the financial statements in any capacity. That's how detectable this whole thing was. So we're not just saying that UNRWA is like a lone actor here. Yes, they're completely involved. But what I'm like, an entity like UNRWA, who would need to audit that would be maybe like a top 10 consulting firm that just talks about the echelons of corruption that this whole thing has infiltrated. And it really boggles my mind how there hasn't really been anyone following up with any attestation reports that have been coming out of there. And if they have, why did they wait this whole time to act? I mean, we saw for years, years and years and years, all throughout the world, advertising for relief for Gaza. The idea now that it's made its way into terrorism with all this attestation that has been coming out in the interim is mind boggling. And I think there needs to be almost like a united investigation by probably led by the USA into the mechanisms of how this entire thing was facilitated, because it's absolutely mind-boggling. We're talking about corruption at not just UNRWA, nation level corruption, and I'm really curious as to who's been auditing UNRWA, because they would, in my opinion, would be abettors to this entire thing.
Yep. Yep. Listen, I don't think nobody was auditing them, in my humble opinion.
But what the hell? You have an organization that's providing humanitarian aid for 40 years right next to the state of Israel, and no one thought to audit them?
I mean, this
Guys,
is the same
sorry
UN
to
that's now,
interrupt.
just one second, this is the same UN that's now placing Iran in charge of nuclear proliferation. I mean, disarmament.
Well, there you go. This has all happened underneath our noses, and I have no idea how.
But it hasn't. I mean, there's a conspiracy here, right? It's all against Israel. There have been so many forces working against Israel. This is just one of them. There's only so much we can do. As a country, we've just been under pressure to keep ourselves safe. I mean, to really go in and investigate how many corrupt forces there were working against us and working against the Gazans too. It's going to take years, if not decades, to really untie this entire thing.
Well, it's I think that it's very easy from an Israeli point of view to say that they're all against us. It's not even them being against us. They're all just serving the cause of the IRGC, which serves its own interest in the Middle East. So of course the Israel is a huge pain in the ass in this entire vision, but that's all they care about. Basically, it's not even the demise of Israel. It's more like the control, the world domination of the IRGC.
Yeah,
There's
but
also,
we're a threat to them because we're the one force in the Middle East that's actually standing up to them. I mean, it's not just our existence; the fact that we're actually fighting back.
Yeah,
I,
as I said, we are paying in their asses. Yeah,
the
definitely.
problem with those NGOs, and I must give my hats off to somebody that sent me that over the DMs, is that it's either they exist and they try to help somebody, and then with lack of transparency and overseeing, we see the problem that we currently have, or they don't exist, so there isn't even an attempt to help alleviate some of the suffering, and that's also not good. So it's both ends of a very, very rotten stick, that somebody needs to change the whole paradigm, to shift the whole paradigm here. And to be honest with you, although I can say that I myself as a smart penguin, I don't have any solution for that, unfortunately.
Well, you know me, the crazy ideas lady. I have some ideas, but we
Yalla,
can talk about it sometimes. Yeah.
yalla.
Yeah, but Alex, it's not such a simple thing to solve, especially considering just how much propaganda is infiltrated in all throughout the West against Israel, all throughout the universities. Look at all these protesters on the streets of all these different countries, protesting for Hamas and for Gaza. They have no idea. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what's actually gone on here.
Yeah. By the way, just as a side note, Bibi actually tweeted 1 hour ago, and he says, "I won't compromise on a Israeli security control, west of the terrain west of Jordan, and that's against the Palestinian state."
By the way, the U.S. is attacking in Yemen right now. Sorry to shift the subject.
Okay, can you update us what's going on there?
I can if I will be updated myself. There were just like a combat jet that have seen bombing in Yemen. Nothing known yet.
Okay, okay, we'll see. We'll see. By the way, I'm getting bombarded by penguins, penguins diving, penguins with guns, penguins looking for Houthis. I'm telling you, we're starting a movement here, and it will not stop.
Let's see how long this fellowship will hold on to.
Well, we have our
So,
skipper at least
Alex,
for the next 11 days, so let's see what goes on after that.
the IDF is now releasing photos from some of the tunnels that they found with evidence that at least 20 of the hostages had been held there. And I don't remember where I read this earlier today, but they said that they now believe that out of the 130 hostages, only about 100 of them might still be alive. So basically, they have indication that at least 30 of them are no longer with us.
Well, first of all, 100 is a lot. Is a lot. It's not a small number. But yeah, I saw the images. I saw images of the cells. I saw images of some drawings of a girl. They say that it's by Emily Hand. Um, heavy stuff. Heavy stuff. Go ahead, Don. Den.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. So I couldn't find the button. Yeah. So I think someone already commented. Actually, it's the first time I'm speaking here, but I'm listening a lot. But someone maybe said the same thing. Yeah, about the noble cause of people in the so-called West collecting money for humanitarian aid for Gaza. I don't think they care actually if they see what the money is being used for. To be honest, which is very unfortunate. Many of them, at least, because I mean, you see all those protests. So yeah, people are brainwashed. Something else needs to be done. I don't know what, but yeah, it's a crazy world.
Look, the most logical thing would be like to take the United Nothing and to let them pass it. But after we saw how much they were performing recently, to be honest, I don't really have trust in them either. So I think the only like countries that might be a great middleman for this are either the Emirates. Someone have a hot mic. So the
Money,
Emirates.
money. You have a hot mic.
Oh yeah. So it would be either the Emirates or like you take like a EU country like Germany, but this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, it's a tough task. It's a tough task basically. The best solution that you could give them is not funding, but to the actual things. But this will be a whole shipping nightmare.
By the way, if we're on the UN situation, that somebody saw Indonesia claim to the UN.
Yeah, it's ridiculous though. Like, seriously, what is this?
We're just missing the North Korea admission to the UN to accuse Israel of something, and that's it, and we're done. I think we're now
And
in a
then
full
Madagascar,
simulation.
and then Madagascar.
Well, Madagascar, I have a warm place for them in my heart. Yeah, but Sean, are you here, by the way? Just checking.
I don't think he is.
Leader, Tango, 1-0. Nope. Okay. So if we're going to start hearing snoring, you all know what to do, right? Good. Just want to point that out. Okay. Well, voice, listen. If you have some ideas about the NGOs, I think now is the time. Nobody's speaking. They can discuss.
Will you believe me? After a day that I had to go through 14 names of dead terrorists, my head is completely fucked.
I
To be
believe you that. I
honest.
believe you that in the morning when you said you have to do a little bit of a drive for like 20 minutes, then you came back to us driving back. I, be- I believe you had a packed day.
This was so a coincidence, but a very funny one. And then, like, you guys, then I was talking like on the phone, and I was like in an Arabic territory, but and it sounded very bad, but it was just like Taibe, you know, the area of Taibe. It's not like I was like
No.
in
يلا
Damascus. No worry.
يلا روح من السيارة روح. Yeah, I know the area. I know the area quite well. Let's see if there's any interesting news as we go along. Mm-mm. Oh, I see the guy. What's the guy from the UN? Gortesh. Gortets. Gort. What's his last name?
Guterres.
Musk. Huh?
Guterres.
No,
No,
Gutierrez.
no,
Gutierrez.
but I see somebody else. Maskala Gortesh.
Gortesh. I don't know how to pronounce that.
He asked again for humanitarian ceasefire or pause with an unconditional release of all hostage, saying the people in Gaza dying not only by bombing and bullets, but also because of lack of food, water, and hospitals that run without electricity. 8 minutes ago. Mhm.
Sorry, I'm rolling a cigarette right now, so if there is something substantial, it will take me a while to get to my phone.
Voice, do you know how to roll?
I know how to rock and roll, but I'm really bad in rolling cigarettes because I usually don't smoke. But today was so stressful, so I'm doing it like an idiot. You know, I'm like trying all the time, like 6 times, and I
I'll,
never managed to do it. And in the end, it looks like someone completely retarded made it, but I can
I'll
smoke
tell
it.
you. I'll tell you the famous Missy Elliott quote. I don't need to know how to roll. The people that I roll with know how to roll.
Man, I love Missy Elliott. She's such a queen.
It's a good statement. Pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pam. Hmm. There was a very kind of out of the cuff statement by the mayor of Nesher. So Nesher is a city next to Haifa. You can call it
אל תגיד
neighbor.
את זה על הפסקת חשמל. אל תגיד את זה.
Ooh, okay.
With
Very
all the
weird.
love. With all the love.
Very weird, by the way, I must say.
They are, they are.
Okay. Yes, Marlene.
So I don't know. We can just go back to news. I just
Kadima, go back to news.
it's amazing to me, really, how these Iran especially, how they always cry victim. Like they create an attack and then immediately they cry victim, and then they also deny links to each other's attacks. And I don't understand if do you think people do you think that they think that we actually still believe them? What's behind that rhetoric?
They're not talking to the crowd's opinion necessarily. They're talking to the authorities that might be able to prosecute them later, or to accuse them or anything, or to make some sort of a retaliation because of something. Look, if they wouldn't claim that there are Mossad agents everywhere, do you know how many countries would start a war with them? Or, like, for example, they say that they make it for their brothers and sister in Gaza, but which life in Gaza are they actually saving by bombing U.S. bases in Syria? It doesn't make any sense. And also, all those pricey missiles that they are launching, or the UAVs that they are launching, some of them are costing several $1 million. You could use that money to drop aid to Gaza, for example. So this is total bullshit. This is like this double play. That might be working for the peasants that they think that their countries are made of. But it's also to cover their asses, basically. Look, everybody talking about the attacks that Israel made and the targeted killing that Israel made. Did Israel tell you that it made anything? No. We don't talk about it, because then it will be like us bragging about things that we maybe didn't do. This is how politics work, unfortunately. But it's not for the crowd's opinion, not necessarily.
Yeah, but it's like even these statements that they make, right? So you had a Houthi spokesperson, and he denied that Iran or Hezbollah had any involvement at all in helping direct the Red Sea attacks. But then you had an Iranian insider saying that the IRGC has been helping the Houthis with military training, even up till last month, that they're actually bringing the fighters to Iran and training them on an IRGC base. And we know 100% that there are commanders from the IRGC on the ground in Yemen that are helping direct and oversee all these attacks on the shipping. So, like, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. They just lie about everything. It's astounding, shamelessly. We'll take it even further, since no one's commenting. So Tehran has actually provided the Houthis with advanced drones, with their anti-ship cruise missiles, with all the ballistic missiles and medium range missiles. So this is already starting in November, when they first started attacking the commercial vessels. And the IRGC is also constantly providing them with data, intelligence to determine which of the vessels traveling through the Red Sea are destined for Israel as well. So, and even Washington said last month that they were involved. So I don't understand how they think that they can still somehow gaslight us when it's so obvious that everything is the IRGC at its core.
Oh, sorry. I'm actually reading some of the statements in the current protest. Dan Khaloots and other people. Interesting. Interesting. Won't go
What,
into it right now.
the anti-Netanyahu and
Yeah,
pro bringing the hostages
I
back?
mean, I mean, everybody's allowed to their opinion. I'm just reading about some of the things. I'm kind of browsing through them. We'll see what's worth discussing. Funny. Very funny. Okay. Stuff, are you here, by the way? Or you just flown away to someplace?
Yeah, I think Stealth is busy. Stealth is
Janice?
busy. So if you want, in the meantime, I can read a summary of what happened in today's mission in Gaza.
Okay.
So we spoke about this a little bit previously, but IDF forces discovered and dismantled long-range rocket launchers. So this was the 99th Division forces in the Zaytun neighborhood. and the 646th Brigade and the 179th Brigade's forces. So today they conducted a targeted raid on weapons production site in the Zaytun neighborhood. So that's in the northern Gaza Strip. While scanning the area, the forces located dozens of rocket production lines and weapons, workshops, rocket fuel production lines, warheads, rocket launching pits, and explosive devices. These production lines were dismantled and the weapons were confiscated. With the chemical materials and gear that were confiscated by the forces, more than 800 rockets could have been manufactured. The rocket production process consists of several stages, and Hamas chose to divide those stages and carry them out in different locations in the area in order to make their finding and dismantling difficult. These targeted raids on weapons production sites caused a significant impact on the Hamas and Islamic Jihad's weapons production process. So that was successful and entirely dismantled today.
Marty, was that a post? That was a news outlet? Where did this came from?
Yeah, that was from Telegram. So this morning I read it in Hebrew, and now they just finally came out with an English translation as well. We spoke about it earlier.
Okay. Okay. Let's see who else is here. Janice, are you here? I see some Z's in the air.
No, I'm hanging out with the penguins.
Cool. Nice
Alex,
to know.
I can't add anyone. Only you can add people.
I
I'm
cannot
not
add.
co-host anymore.
I cannot add. The stage is full. But it looks like there's places to add, but there is no option for me to add.
I will drop down.
No,
So
it will not allow me to add any more people, anyways. But I texted Sean to see what's going on with him.
I have a question. What's the most surprising news that you've heard in the last 24 hours? Everybody go.
Surprising news. It's hard to be surprised during these days. I think so.
Right. I'll
Maybe
go
the 15
first.
missiles at a U.S. base. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I was going there. I'll go second. The fact that we gave them medicine for the hostages and still nothing. And on top of that, I think we gave them like a truckload of medicine and medical equipment for them for the hostage medicine, and how we did that without 100% guarantee that this would not happen, and it happened. And now tomorrow we're giving money, maybe through Jordan, a third party. I mean, even if it was Sweden or Finland, it's still going to go to Hamas. I mean, what in the world is going on? I mean, is this all to appease America or to stop the? I mean, nothing's going to stop the Jew hatred. Nothing. We have gone above and beyond over and over and over again to protect civilians, and we're trashed, and we're just totally trashed in on social media and in the news because of why? Because of Jew hatred, anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I agree
Hold
with you,
on.
Janet. By the way,
Hold
Alex,
on just a second.
we're getting first reports about several big explosions that just took place at the port in Yemen.
Well, I'll be
just
darned.
Yeah, I think
אלכס
voice.
נמאס לי, אני יורדת מזה. ביי.
Okay. Do I see Joe here on the speaking floor?
Yeah,
Joe,
I'm here. Hey guys.
Joe, is that you?
Yeah, apparently I must have had a
You,
speaker invite from before, and when I
you
came
brave
on,
soul.
I came up.
Are you sure you're safe here, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I spend my time here. Look, it like what Janice was saying. Look, I don't want to see Jew hatred. I don't, and I've written about it. And the difference is she comes from an angle that believes that that's being done because it's ingrained in Muslims to hate Jews or Islamics or jihadis or whoever it may be. And
I don't think
and
she
I
says in
believe,
Muslim. I think in Islamist. That's something else.
yeah, it's true. That's why I reworded it. And I think it comes from a tyrannical government that kills a lot of innocent Palestinians and has continued to do so and growing. And I think that spreads Jew hatred. And if I try to equate it to like to a lot of the black community, right? Like you might why are people racist? They'll say, oh, because look at everything they do. And then other people look at how we've oppressed them. You can come at it from two angles, right? And I'm on the angle that what Israel has done to innocent people, oppressing them, that creates hatred. And people are ignorant that it's a government policy that's doing it and not a religion. Because there's Jews that live all over the world that have nothing to do with what's happening in Israel. It's not a religious thing, although you're trying to make it one.
Wait, who's we?
I'm speaking to what Janice had said about the Jew hatred. It's
Well, I think Jew hatred is something historically that we saw from for years and years, different times, different reasons,
yeah,
all stem from
100%.
the same rotten core.
Yeah. Look,
What do
the
you
main
think the
reason
Holocaust happened, Joa?
Yeah, look, I understand.
Joa, Joa, and
I
answer
support
my
an
question.
Israeli state. I was
Joa,
going to speak about the pogroms, Janice.
no,
I was going to speak
I'm
about that
just
and
asking
why.
you one question. What what do you think caused the Holocaust and the demise
It,
of 6 million Jews in such a horrific fashion?
yeah, it was decades and decades of Jew hatred all across Europe and Northern Africa. I mean, and that was like a culmination of it. And the evidence of that wasn't just the Holocaust; it was all the pogroms that happened to the Jews as well, which were absolutely horrific.
And so you're saying that this new and improved Jew hatred is happening because of the way we treat Palestinians.
No, what I'm saying is that there's a combination of it, Janice. There's a combination of people who are ignorant and racist to begin with, and that exists everywhere in the world, right? There's people who are racist against me because I'm a European in America, and they want an all-white America, and but it's not all white. It's northern white. It's if you're German or English, and then you have people who hate blacks or people who hate the Mexicans. Like it's funny because I always, I think Sean's about to get upset at me, but like the gun-toting MAGA, ultra MAGA people who are, the terrorists are coming, the Mexicans are stealing our jobs, the Chinese are dealing us drugs. Like they're scared of everything in this world, and a lot of
Joe,
times the most racist people in the world.
you just made yourself look like such a fool. You're telling everybody what my angle was and telling them because of how we treat Palestinians and what they've done, yet you admitted that the Holocaust happened, which was 6 million Jews, and we're trying to prevent it from becoming one more Jew. And the Holocaust happened because of Jew hatred. But that Jew hatred
Janice,
disappeared.
anti-Semitism is
But
up.
Just not,
but
just, guys, just not together, okay? Just one by one, okay?
but that Jew hatred disappeared, and all of a sudden now a new Jew hatred, a new and improved Jew hatred appeared because we've treated the Palestinians so bad.
Yeah,
Joe, I'm not sure how you
I'm
think
not gonna
we
insult
treat the
you.
Arabs, and
Hold on,
here you can
let
see
me
it.
just
Just
reply
one
real
second.
quick,
Just one
and then you
second.
can
Guys,
reply.
again,
Just one
one by
second.
one.
So I put a link
Let
up
me
top. You can
reply.
see how an Arab Israeli describes how he loves his life in Israel and how he has full equal status here.
That's
So I'm
You
not
keep
sure how
trying
you
to
think we
equate
treat them.
Palestinians to Arabs. They are Arabs, but a Palestinian is a Palestinian. Not all Arabs are Palestinian. And you try to make that equal equivalency, which is not equal, right? And what I'm saying
How do
is
we treat them?
anti-Semitism is up, right? How do the Israelis get treated? How do the Jews get treated in Iran that still live there today? How do they get treated?
Like shit?
No, they don't.
Ah,
No,
come
they
on.
don't. They have
Yeah,
all
Come on.
freedom.
their lives are under constant threat, Joa, and you know that. Marnie, I got your DM. You want me to open? Is that what you're saying?
No, what
Marnie?
I'm saying is anti-Semitism is up. Why is it up? Why has it increased drastically?
Because the mass propaganda and war going on from social media and all these pro-Palestinian rallies and marches in the streets because everybody's
Right.
been activated.
Why are there protests, Stealth?
uh, there's protests because they're using this as an excuse to push a Marxist leftist ideology, and they're capturing this period of time. It has nothing to do with civilians, sadly, in Gaza or the hostages. If it was about
That's
the
not why it's up
civilians
for
in
me.
Gaza, this protest would be get rid of Hamas. You've destroyed all of Gaza's neighborhoods and whatever advancements they've had, and you've stolen our money. The Palestinians should be in the
I
street
agree
saying,
with that.
Hamas has stolen our money. UNRWA has abused our children into the most fucked up ideology and mentally abused those kids to the point that they're spewing hate rather than love and caring. Teach them how to be love and kind to animals and people and others, not fucking do kindergarten graduation at gunpoint with an Israeli kid on his knees with a helmet and your gun to the head. Come on, Joe, that's fucked up, dude. And it's like
Yeah, I
17 years of that
Stealth.
shit, and it's our tax
But I
dollars
agree with
and the
everything you
rest of the world's
said,
tax dollars.
and I even posted it. But I stand that Hamas is as bad for Palestinians as Israel has been, right? And
No,
if you
that's
go to, yes,
ridiculous.
it's not
That's
true,
different.
Stealth.
No, because they woke up one day and decided to do this massive attack, and then their own leadership says the more of our civilians die, the better it is for our cause. I'll give 6 million of them. He just gave a speech on Friday. Their leadership. How can you say that? You don't see
Look,
Israelis or me or anybody saying, let's let 6 million of them die. It'll help our cause. God forbid.
uh,
We wouldn't
s-
speak like that. There's a few
Stealth.
nut jobs, fine.
Ami Ayalan, which is the ex-head of the Shin Bet, has been saying for 6 years that if Israel stops, doesn't go back to our democratic values, Hamas, who we're using as an asset, will create a huge terror attack against us. This is not the way to move forward. We need to be democratic with these people, and we have lost our democratic values. This is the head of the Shin Bet saying if
Yeah,
Israel
yeah,
does not
but
change
Joe,
what they're
I, I,
doing,
I must stop you
this
there.
exact thing is going to happen.
Yeah, but Joe, I must stop you there for a second because you need to look at certain statements by certain people, and also understand what are they trying to do and what are they trying to signal. Ami Ayalon is been one of the anti-Bibi, more prominent voice in Israel, and a lot of things that he says are they have an undertone of going against this government versus saying
Yeah. It's
some of the
politically
things.
motivated comment.
Wow, so they just booted me. They kicked me out of the conversation. They kicked me out of the debate. I wasn't even doing anything bad. I was just commenting and making, posting emojis like everyone else, and they kicked me out. They clearly do not want to have a conversation. They're gaslighting, and wow, I was really not expecting that. I actually thought they would allow me to speak. I actually thought they would let me speak, but